fucked up, right? You know you fucked up, right? Come on now. You fucked up. You fucked up. You fucked up now. You fucked up.
One of these people hit me, though. I'm gonna have to be through. That's it. What you saying, bro? Keep it going. Keep it going.
Fuck the peace, man! Fuck the peace, man! Oh my God! That's what they're about to do. Yeah, he's scared. This motherfucker right here. Scared as fuck. Come on now. Come on out.
Y'all watch out. Y'all better get out the way.
House up there work, pussy. House up there work.
Street. Tony, if you could pan to the right, I want to show the military police. I want to show the military police on the side of the street. Over the last half hour, we've had military police. We've had
Richard, what are you seeing on the ground there, and why is this resonating so strongly where you are?
Well, this is now a global movement, Craig, and the protesters here, several thousand of them, are now on the march. They have left Hyde Park, and they are now right in the heart of downtown London. Behind me is the Houses of Parliament. If you swing around this way, this is a part of the entrance to 10 Downing Street, the equivalent in this country of the White House. These demonstrations have been peaceful, but they are ongoing. There have been in more than a dozen cities, from Cape Town to Reykjavik, demonstrations in solidarity with Black Lives Matter, in solidarity with what is happening all across the United States. Because people say that systemic racism is not just an American problem. And we were just listening to Governor Cuomo, and he talked about this confluence of events, the COVID pandemic and the unrest that is happening in the United States. And that is something that we're feeling here in this country as well. Several of the demonstrators I spoke to said that they have been in lockdown for months. Because of the pandemic, the economic pain has been very real. COVID has hit Black and South Asian communities here more than it has hit white communities. The disease, according to studies that have been released just yesterday, is more lethal for minorities. So all of this confluence of events brought people out onto the streets, and they say that systemic racism is another pandemic that they want to address, not just COVID.
Broke out, I heard absolute mayhem and horror broke out. I heard a big bang, screaming, pepper spray started flying. My eyes were burning. I just started yelling, "Get in the house." There was this sense of a human tsunami coming down the street and police beating on people, putting their faces down on cement. It was happening really fast. I just kept the door open, and kids were 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 50-year-olds were coughing, running up for about 10 minutes, just streaming into the house as fast as they could until the police line passed my front door. And there were no more protesters kind of in the wake there. And I rushed back in the house and I locked the door, and they started spraying pepper spray in through the window. This is the first time I'm seeing these videos that are showing up now. It's gut wrenching that this is happening. And then inside for an hour and a half, people are crying. They're throwing milk on their eyes, and they're helping each other and giving each other medical care. And the police are taunting them outside. And after an hour and a half and the days kind of lifted and the air dissipated from pepper spray, I just saw a beautiful sight of everyone really coming together. They're perfect strangers. They didn't know each other at all. They were just oppressed for just marching peacefully. All they were saying 15 seconds before mayhem broke out and the force of the authorities came down was, "Let us through, let us through." It was the last video I took, and 15 seconds later, my America changed.
Is this prosecution going to be, in your view?
Well, Joy, a couple of things. First of all, I see 9 minutes of intent to kill George Floyd on that videotape. But setting that aside, Attorney General Ellison decided to go with felony murder, which is much easier to prove. Let me break down felony murder in layman's terms. It means that, for example, if I go into somebody's house intending to commit a burglary, not intending to kill the homeowner, but the homeowner surprises me, I run out, I knock the homeowner down, he hits his head and dies. I didn't intend to kill the homeowner. However, because I did cause the death of the homeowner while I was committing a felony, a burglary, I'm guilty of murder. The same principle, Joy, holds true here. Derek Chauvin and the other officers didn't have to intend to kill George Floyd. However, they were assaulting him. And during that assault, he died. Therefore, they're on the hook.
There was the distinct sound of gunfire, which changed the mood here very quickly. You can see we're now surrounded by the gas. They've put out the tear gas. The line is there. If you can see the blue, those are more flashbang, Lawrence. The crowd here was jovial, but was getting out of control, especially with the vehicles and the cars. When the National Guard supported units with the Louisville police started moving forward, the crowd went to meet them. That's when we saw this tear gas and the flashbangs. But again, the thing that's been happening in this city has been live fire, live gunfire, and we heard it distinctly just about 3 minutes ago. There was somebody shot and killed last night just after midnight. That has been the concern that everyone has had. The crowd is now dispersing. They are starting to run. And if you can see those blue lights, there you go, Mark, you'll see the police are moving forward very slowly but very deliberately. And again, they're using that tear gas and those flashbang grenades to get rid of the protesters. The thing that happened last night, Lawrence, just after midnight, David McAtee was killed, 53 years old, and he was shot dead. He was shot dead in an exchange of gunfire. And as we found out later from the mayor, the police were not activating their body cameras. There was no body camera footage. That has really upset people here because they view the police force here as more than just abusive, but as corrupt and as dirty. And that's what we've been hearing here on the ground.
This is what it's come to.
I can't follow you, and I'm not going to follow you and give you personal protection. I can't follow you, and I'm not going to follow you and give you personal protection. And I'm telling you, for your own benefit, you had better turn around and get out of this area. You're not going to the courthouse in a group under the condition that you come here, and I'll assure you that.
All we would like to do, sir, is to go to the
courthouse is closed. There's no business there.
We don't want to go.
There are people who live in this neighborhood who have to go back uptown to work. And you are here profiting off of our f***ing pain. So you f***ing protest, every single last one of you. You think about what it's like to be a black woman in this f***ing neighborhood who lives with people in public housing, who now has f***ing shit to walk through, who bag your groceries, who drop off your food, who defend you, who go uptown to a f***ing hospital to serve this community. So as you're out here, be f***ing responsible. Have a f***ing plan. You can protest all you want, but the shit I just saw take place. I know there are people out here, homeless people, who f***ing rely on those banks to charge their f***ing phone. And you think it's okay to take down a neighborhood? You don't see corporations here. There are human beings that live in this goddamn neighborhood. You do this in Harlem, you do this in Brooklyn, and I swear on everything. These people in this neighborhood deserve better. And I'm not talking about the gentrification. I'm not talking about the students who come here and pay cash to go to NYU. I am talking about the people who go to a methadone clinic down the goddamn street. you think this is a protest? I gave my blood, sweat, and tears for this country. I served this country for 10 goddamn years. So when you think about this anger and this rage, because there's a way to get answers. Every single last one of you better be registered to vote. Yes, ma'am. Every single last one of you.
We are. Yeah.
So do me a favor, for every single person out here protesting, remember, there's 3 homeless men who rely on that as a charging station. And what? Will it even work now? For the sake of what? So you can go back home to your comforts. Sit in your house and think that you did some work today. There are people out here who work in these bodegas, who are security officers, who are maybe not descendants of slavery, but came over here as immigrants to do their jobs.
So great, everybody's...
And you created an unsafe goddamn environment. And I am tired of it. I don't care how you decide to organize and protest. But you don't riot. You don't burn in my goddamn neighborhood. I am a resident here. And you will realize this resident doesn't look like any of you. Because she is black. She has a right to be mad. But when you come in here with your privilege and you take down resources that my community needs, these houses, these buildings are dilapidated because of we don't have patrons here. There are immigrants who built a eyebrow-threading studio. And we got spray paint on their So you want to do something, make sure you're registered to vote.
Okay. I just want to personally and publicly go on record supporting this resolution before us this evening. You know, guys, it's simple, like a lot of them have said. The Constitution needs no explanation. It's been enforced for several hundred years now. It's easy to understand. It says what it means and means what it says. And the last time I read the Declaration of Independence, it specifically reminds all of us that we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, which means God-given. Among these, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And that governments were instituted among men specifically to secure our God-given rights. And it says when government becomes destructive to these ends, meaning when they go above and beyond trying to secure our liberties and trying to take them, it's the right of the people to alter or abolish that government, either by voting or ultimately, God forbid, to use our Second Amendment rights to protect ourselves from tyranny. And I'm just asking all of y'all to unanimously join our sister counties of Wilkes, Surrey, Stokes, Lincoln, and Cherokee and get on board with this thing and publicly demonstrate to us that you're willing to uphold and honor the same oath I took when I put my hand on God's word and held my other hand up to him and swore that I'd give my life to defend that Constitution. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but regardless of what y'all do or don't do, I'm not going to enforce an unconstitutional law. I'm going to protect. I'm going to protect the people of this county regardless of what's done here. So I'm just praying. I've been praying about this thing all week, that God would touch y'all's heart and say, hey, let's get on board. Let's do the right thing. Let's let these people know that we're here to support them, and we're not going to allocate any personnel, finances, resources, or facilities to infringe on their liberties. Thank you.
Head wide open, man. Yo, let's go. Take it as far as you got. Where you live at? Protest on fucking line. this. Plain and simple, we just don't live like this. We don't photo and everything. No matter the race or photo me and him. We're from someone that can't defend himself. A cop can't defend himself, so we're here. Anyone wants to throw shit at a cop, or pick on a cop, pick one of us the fuck out, and we'll go around the corner and fight you one-on-one. So unless that, take that fucking faggot energy, take that fucking faggot energy, and go somewhere else. We just want peace, but we